Welcome back. Today, we have Platinum Review number 45, Panzer Dragoon Remake. Originally released in 1995, Panzer Dragoon is the first game released in a trilogy of rare and expensive titles for the Sega Saturn. Panzer Dragoon Saga, the final installment for the Saturn, can fetch over $1,000 on eBay alone. Panzer Dragoon was developed by Team Andromeda and was the company's first video game release, led by just 25-year-old Yukio Futatsugi. A remake of the game was released by Megapixel Studio in 2020 for the PS4, and it is this version that I played. Set in a post-apocalyptic world, the player controls Kyle Flug, a hunter who rides on a powerful blue dragon. Thousands of years ago, a technologically advanced ancient civilization created genetically engineered biological weapons. However, these living weapons were uncontrolled and released, resulting in a cataclysmic war that nearly wiped out all of humanity. Now, many years later, the mutated descendants of the original weapons wreak havoc on what remains of humanity. One human nation, the Empire, has rediscovered ancient technologies and weapons found in a dark tower in the middle of a lake. However, rather than using these to free the world of the mutated monsters, the Imperials use this newfound power to control and conquer their enemies. The game opens with Kyle hunting, when he is attacked by a creature in a desert-like canyon. He chases after it and stumbles upon an ancient ruin. Inside, he discovers strange technology hanging from the ceiling. As he continues to explore, Kyle is attacked by a larger, much more dangerous creature. He fires on it, but his weapons do nothing. When all looks lost, a cave-in from above crushes the creature, saving Kyle. From the resulting hole in the ceiling, a blue dragon flies into the ruins, being pursued by a larger black dragon. The dragons fight, and the ruins are blown wide open, blasting Kyle out into the desert. The dragons continue to fight until the black dragon shoots the blue dragon's rider and flies off. Mortally wounded, the rider reaches out to Kyle and connects to him telepathically. He tells Kyle not to let the black dragon go back to the tower where the ancient technology was found. The rider dies, and Kyle mounts the blue dragon, flying off, determined to complete the rider's mission of stopping the black dragon. Panzer Dragoon is a rail shooter, where an on-screen reticle represents the aim of the dragon's attacks. However, the player does have some vertical and horizontal control of the dragon's position to help avoid enemy attacks. Attacking enemies utilizes two basic styles. The first is a light attack that can be button mashed for a rapid fire assault. The second is a lock-on charge, which can disperse projectiles to take out numerous enemies at once. An on-screen radar allows the player to know which direction incoming enemies are attacking from, and the dragon can quickly turn in 90-degree increments to change attack location. Hitting both R1 and L1 at the same time will result in an instant 180-degree turn. The game consists of 7 relatively short episodes. The first 5 follow the same basic structure. They start with a large number of various enemy encounters, eventually leading to a boss fight. The 6th episode doesn't have a boss fight, and the final episode is just the final boss fight. Episode 1 sees Kyle flying over a flooded underwater city. He fights numerous enemies through falling structures and decaying ruins. Eventually, the boss emerges, a Naraka-class Imperial battleship. Episode 2 begins in a large desert with giant centipede-like creatures emerging and burrowing into the sand. At the end, Kyle is attacked by a prototype dragon, which flies off once defeated. Episode 3 takes place above the canyons in a nighttime setting. Kyle must fight both Imperial forces and creatures until defeating massive machines as the boss. Episode 4 is inside of a facility filled with advanced sentinels. The boss in this episode is a large, robotic creature that takes many hits to defeat. Episode 5 is back outside over a large forest that almost looks like Pandora. Here, Kyle battles many battleships before taking out the boss, an Imperial flying stronghold. Episode 6 begins on a dark and stormy night. Kyle pursues the Black Dragon through the Imperial capital as enemies attack from everywhere. As the Black Dragon flees the capital and flies into the distance, the episode ends, setting up the final boss fight. The final episode starts with the Black Dragon reaching the tower. Unfortunately for Kyle, the Black Dragon is mutated into a gigantic super dragon. After an epic fight, the super dragon is defeated and falls into the ocean below. Victorious, Kyle and the Blue Dragon enter the tower. Inside, the Blue Dragon puts Kyle in a force field and flies alone to the core, sacrificing itself for the destruction of the tower. A little while later, Kyle awakes in the desert. He discovers footprints in the sand and is relieved to learn that the Blue Dragon is alive and carried into safety before flying off, and the game ends. Panzer Dragoon also has an Episode 0, which was an unfinished prototype level that can be accessed via a cheat code. This level involves flying over the water and defeating many flying enemies. Speaking of cheat codes, since this game is a remake of a Sega classic, it has many available old-school cheat codes. Entering these at the title screen allow for a wide variety of options. God mode can be activated, which makes it so Kyle and the Blue Dragon are invincible. The player can also access super weapons and unlimited continues. However, the Pandora's Box cheat can only be activated once the game is completed on any difficulty. This is an options menu that allows for easy cheat inputs and chapter select. The platinum process for Panzer Dragoon was straightforward and easy, with a single tedious task. Each chapter must be completed and must be completed with a 70% enemy defeated rate. This is not difficult at all, especially with the lock-on attack. Trophies are also related to the cheats and require a level played on God mode and opening the secret menu. In addition, the final episode must be completed on hard mode. This, and completing the game in general, is extremely easy to achieve, as activating God mode can be used, which makes it impossible to lose. I recommend playing the game normally before using God mode, but if you get stuck, it's there. The final story-related trophy is to complete the game without using the auto-aim lock-on attack. Completing the game only takes about an hour or so completing all trophies can be done in very short order. That is, all trophies except one. For some inexplicable reason, the game has one trophy that requires 100 hours of in-game activity. For a game that only takes an hour to complete, it has no place here. Despite the game being a ton of fun to play, I don't think anybody wants to play the campaign over and over 100 times. So to get this trophy, just stay idle on the title screen a couple hours at a time for the next bunch of days, and you can get it. Now here is a more detailed explanation. How to get the 100-hour trophy while remaining idle. Start the game normally and leave it on the title screen without doing anything else. As you can see, our starting time was 97 hours and 26 minutes. At this point, my game had been idle for about an hour, but the timer has not updated. To fix this, start a new game. Difficulty doesn't matter, and once it begins to load, close the game and restart it. This should now fix the in-game timer. You can leave the game idle for hours or even days at a time, but sleep mode must be off and the controller plugged in. In my experience, you must start and close a new game in order to get the idle time to add to the in-game timer, otherwise it won't do so. Also note that time spent playing in God mode won't count towards the in-game timer. Once the game loads back to the title screen, you can check and see that the in-game timer has now updated to 98 hours and 26 minutes. Once you get the in-game timer over 100 hours, if the trophy has not popped, simply start a new game and finish the first level, and it will pop at the end. Overall, this game was a fun blast from the past with beautiful updated visuals. This is a very quick and easy platinum trophy, with the one exception. I recommend this game, especially for anyone who is a fan of Sega or rail shooters. Those going for the platinum, just know in advance the 100-hour trophy nonsense. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for Platinum Review number 46.